Welcome back, travelers. It's our last night of Rocky Railway Virtual VBS. I can't believe we've made it to lesson 5 already. I'm Miss Angie, the conductor on our journey this summer, and I'm so glad that you're here tonight. I'm not exactly sure where our friend Cam Track is, but I'm sure he'll show up here shortly.
No, just stay right there. I promise. I got it. No, please, just stay over there. Oh.
Wow, Cam, you look really steamed up. Kind of like you're going off the rails.
You're not helping. Look, you wouldn't get it. It's an engineer thing.
Well, you know what? Try me. I bet I can track right with you.
Really? The train jokes are not helping right now. I already said that.
Just one more. Go ahead. I'm listening. In fact, I'm all engineers.
Fine. Well, usually it takes 2 people to operate a steam engine. The engineer and the fireman.
The fireman, like one with a big red truck and a Dalmatian dog? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about a fireman that's on a train, like somebody who scoops the coal and puts it in the boiler to make the train go.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
so I'm tracking so far.
Well, we got this new fireman on our crew, and he's so annoying. He won't stop talking. Hey, Cam, what's your favorite color? Mine's purple. Hey, Cam, how old are you? That's so old. Hey, Cam, were you there when the train was invented? Hey, you want to hear a joke? What do you call a train that hauls bubblegum? A choo-choo train.
Cam, wait a second. Hold on just a minute. You're not being very nice to this new guy.
You wouldn't get it. You don't know what it's like to be constantly interrupted while you're trying to work.
Actually, I think I would get it. And let me just say this. Jesus' power can help us be good friends. Trust Jesus. That's what we're learning tonight, Cam. And I know some people can be kind of difficult and it's hard to love them, but Jesus' power can help us do that.
But he won't stop talking.
Well, listen, I know that happens from time to time, but also I know that sometimes when people are really hard to get along with or they are annoying or bothersome, they are the people that need us the most, and they need to see Jesus' love the most.
Well, I guess going down the mountain with him will give me a lot of practice being a good friend, but will you guys pray for me like you said you would?
Absolutely. We will definitely pray for you. And you know what, Cam? God might have put you and this guy together, might have put him on the crew because you're the exact one that needs to show him Jesus' love. A job only you can do.
A job that only I can do?
Yeah.
Now that's cool.
That is cool, isn't it?
I'm going to go load supplies for the training. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later.
We'll pray for you.
God of heaven and earth, you are amazing. You hold me up with your hand, you give me faith, and I will put my hope in you alone, in you alone. God of heaven and earth, you are amazing. You hold me up with your hand, you give me faith, and I will put my hope in you alone, in you alone.
I will put
It sure has been fun riding the rails with you on this wonderful journey that we've had on the Rocky Railway. And here we are at the last lesson tonight. And I want to share something with you about trains in general. A long time ago in America, people use trains a lot. We've talked about that from getting, they use them to get from one place to another. They use them to move things that they needed, equipment and goods from one place to another. But there was a problem. The railroad did not go all the way from one side of the nation to the other side of the nation. So they would have to ride one train a while and then they'd have to get on another train until at some point there was an arrangement and people worked together to build one railroad that would go from one side of the nation to another. And actually, I want to show you this little object here. This is a railroad spike, and this is what people would use to hammer the rail tracks together. And it's made of metal. It's very heavy. I know you can't hold it right now, but it's a heavy thing. But railroad spikes aren't usually golden. They're usually just a really dark brown color. But the golden spike is something that was used to hammer the last little bit of the Transcontinental Railroad together, and that joined one side of the country with the other. It connected the rails, and this was a very important thing for America to be connected in this way. And it goes right along with our Bible point tonight, which says the church is united or connected, just like that golden spike connected the rails together. Jesus is what connects us together as a group of people, a group of friends who love each other and love Jesus and want to show Jesus' love to others. So I want you to watch this quick little video about the golden spike because I think it's kind of interesting, and then we'll talk after that.
The Golden Spike was something that I'd always heard about in Utah. The two railroads came together at Promontory. 2019 is the 150th anniversary of the Golden Spike, and so we thought it would be really cool to make this trip from Salt Lake to Promontory to see the reenactment and to find out more about the Golden Spike and the Transcontinental Railroad. So we thought it'd be neat to leave our house in Salt Lake City along with a bike and take this trip using a train. Get on Front Runner, take Front Runner up as far as we could go, then get on a bus and ride our bikes out to Promontory. It's just really neat understanding, the whole aspect of trains and our history. We've been building a lot of train lines lately, and so we're almost rediscovering the rail here in Utah. When you come into Ogden on the train, you realize that that's really how you're meant to come into Ogden. Come into that huge rail yard across the Weber River, the Ogden Union Station and 25th Street, and you see the wall of Mount Ogden behind it, and you're like, oh, this is how you're supposed to arrive in Ogden. So then when we went into the train museum, it gave us a different perspective on that whole history there. With the bikes, it allowed us to explore Bear River Valley in a lot more detail and just slow things down a little bit. Allowed us to poke into places that we might not otherwise have stopped at. When you're traveling with an 8-year-old, you want to make sure that your days aren't too long. Crystal Hot Springs is a really cool place. It's been visited as a hot springs by people in Utah really ever since the time of the Golden Spike. Found ourselves on the shore of the Great Salt Lake on the playa. It was right along the railroad grade from, the Southern Pacific, and so we could see a lot of those ruins. It was a really cool experience to camp out on the playa like that. When we finally got to Promontory, there's that last steep hill that we went up, and so we really understood what the railroads were up against, making that last push up the hill to Promontory Summit. So you see these black and white photos, and it just doesn't do justice to how colorful the train engines are. You had all these people from San Francisco and other big cities literally in the middle of nowhere with these colorful railroad engines. It just really brought it to life.
The driving of the last spike is at hand. At this point, we wish to commend both railroad companies and their workers.
So it's always fun to have people that come out here and they may not know why they're out here. They see the reenactment, they see the locomotives, they get an idea of the history, and them to actually realize why this is such an important part in our nation's history.
This was something that captivated everybody, that the whole country was watching Utah, waiting for this moment when the last spike would be driven in.
We have met some fantastic Bible memory buddies on our journey through the Rocky Mountains. Last week, if you'll remember, we met a fishy friend named Finn who helped us to remember that Jesus' power helps us live forever. Trust Jesus. Today's Bible memory buddy does not live in the water. He doesn't have fins. He has fur, in fact, and some very big antlers. Can you guess what today's animal is? Take a look at this video.
I heard everyone was steaming ahead with the last day of Rocky Railway. Glad you're here. I'm Lawrence Elk, not a moose, not a ram, but an excellent elk. Male elks are called bulls, and me and my bull buddies like to hang out way up in the Rocky Mountains. In the winter, we move down where we can find grass. But in the spring and summer, we head for the hills. It's important that we stick together with the herd. Some elk herds are as big as 400 friends. Although my antlers are big and strong, female elk or babies don't have these, and a hungry bear is hard to fight off. Speaking of these amazing antlers, they are pretty incredible if I do say so myself. Sometimes they come in handy when other herds get too close to mine, or I need to show another bull that I'm in charge. Yeah, sometimes we butt heads, even in our happy herd. But I try not to get too attached. Literally, they fall off every year and I grow a new set. How cool is that? God also gave me a unique power to help me communicate with the herd. That's called bugling. It's a little like roaring and whistling at the same time. It keeps my herd close together where we can be safe. Our herd even has scouts, a few elk who stand watch while others graze. We have to look out for each other. Do you have friends who look out for you? Friends you like to call out to when you're sad or silly, happy or hurting? Or do you sometimes butt heads with your buddies? Maybe you need the power to forgive and love a friend when you're not getting along. You don't have to do that all by yourself. Jesus gives you his power to help be a good friend. Jesus gave this powerful command in the Bible. Love each other in the same way I have loved you. If you're butting heads with your buddies and not getting along, you can trust Jesus' power and follow his words. Jesus' power helps us be good friends. Trust Jesus.
Lawrence Elk is a pretty cool character. And when we see him tonight, we can remember that Jesus' power helps us be good friends. Trust Jesus. And he, in the video, mentioned our memory verse for tonight. So I want to go over that with you. It's found in the book of John, chapter 15, verse 12. And that says, "Love each other in the same way I have loved you." Jesus is talking to us in this scripture, and he's telling us, I loved you so much, and I want you to love other people just as much as I love you. I think it's time for a Bible adventure. And tonight's Bible adventure will take us to the early church. We're going to find out how Jesus worked through people. So we've been talking all these weeks about what Jesus can do for us with his power. Tonight we're going to talk about what Jesus can do through us with his power. Join me for a Bible adventure. Tonight's Bible adventure is all about the early church. Let's find out what our example is for being believers together in a group, loving each other the way Jesus loved us. From Acts chapter 2. Well, boys and girls, it's time for our last Bible adventure on the Rocky Railway. I want to talk about my Bible a little bit. I've shown it to you a few times over our journey. I want you guys to know that this Bible is the most important book that you will ever put your hands on. And if you don't have a Bible, I would love to give you one, because this is our guidebook. These are words that God has given us to learn, to study, and we're going to actually hear about that a little bit in today's Bible adventure. We are in the book of Acts, chapter 2, and we're learning about the early church. I'm going to read some scripture for you today from the book of Acts, and then we're going to watch a short little video that I think really explains today's Bible point, today's Bible story about the church being united or together, and how we're supposed to act as the church. Before I do that, I mentioned just a few minutes ago that our lessons up to this point on week 1, 2, 3, and 4 was all about what Jesus's power can do for us, and it can do a lot of good stuff, as we've talked about. Tonight, we're kind of changing gears a little bit, and we're going to learn how Jesus's power can work through us by uniting us as believers in Jesus, and how we're supposed to treat other people because of Jesus' power. So let's read Acts chapter 2. I'm going to start with verse 42, and I'm going to read to the end of that chapter. Just listen to these words. The believers studied what the apostles taught. They shared their lives together. They ate and they prayed together. Everyone was amazed at what God was doing. They were amazed when the apostles were just Jesus's friends and people that believed in him and people that taught other people about him. They were amazed when the apostles performed many wonders and signs. All the believers were together. They shared everything they had. They sold property and other things they owned. They gave to anyone who needed something. Every day, they met together in the temple courtyard. They ate meals together in their homes. Their hearts were glad and sincere. They praised God. They were respected by all the people. Every day, the Lord added to their group those who were being saved. What an awesome example of how we are supposed to be as friends with each other. And now if you'll just watch this short video that describes the early church and how we're supposed to treat other people.
The church is the building we go to when we want to learn about God.
No, this is a church.
Those are people.
Yep. In fact, it's you and me.
You kinda lost me.
The church isn't a building. The church is the people who have made Jesus the leader of their lives. And that's us. We don't go to church. We are the church. And we exist for the world.
Oh, okay. I still don't get it.
Let's look in the book of Acts. That's where the Bible talks about the very first church, the people who first believed in Jesus. They didn't have buildings to meet in, so they met where they could, usually in people's homes.
So their church was a house?
Nope, the church met in houses. Even then, the church was the people. And the apostles taught them many things about God. They did great and wonderful things with God's power. God did amazing things through everyone in the church.
Through all the people? How?
The people of early church put others first. They prayed together, they shared meals, they shared their time, they shared everything.
Everything? Really? Are you sure?
Sure, I'm sure. The Bible tells us that when one of them needed something, others shared what they had. They even sold things and used the money to help out.
That's amazing.
That's putting others first. The early church was really good at it. For instance, this one guy, Joseph, sold a field and brought the money to the people of the church to help those who needed it.
Awesome. What made them do that?
They all agreed. They all wanted to live like Jesus, and the apostles told them how Jesus put others first when he died on the cross and went up to heaven.
The early church learned about Jesus and lived like him, so they put others first. I think I get it.
Great, but you haven't heard the best part. When others saw how those first church people lived, it made them want to follow Jesus too. In fact, more people decided to follow Jesus every single day.
Wow, God did do amazing things through the first church people.
And God still does amazing things through his people when they live like Jesus and put others first.
Right, because we are the church.
And we exist for the world.
I love that story of the early church, and I want to talk about 3 things that I noticed in the story. First of all, when we hear the word church, we often think of a building, and we say things like, I go to church on Sunday, and we're talking about going to the building. But we learned that the church is not a building. It's actually me and you, the people. The people are the church. So that was the first thing that I noticed. And then the second thing that I noticed was that Jesus was our example and is our example for being the church. He's the best friend that anyone could ever have, because think about it, boys and girls. We learned last week he loved us so much that he was willing to die as the punishment for our sin. And so because he's our example, and our example, Jesus, is all about love, love is the thing that runs the church. In fact, I think this is a good time to say our memory verse. Remember, John 15:12 says, love each other in the same way that I have loved you. You know, we had an illustration at the beginning of our video tonight about the golden spike. The golden spike was what joined the 2 railroads together so that people could travel from one side of the country to the other. In the church, Jesus is our golden spike because he's the thing that unites us with his love. That's what brings us together as a group who loves Jesus and who loves each other and loves everyone in the world. And then the third thing that I noticed in the story today was that we have a job to do as part of the church. That job is to tell other people about Jesus so that the church doesn't stay just a little group, but it grows and grows and grows because we love people. We want them to come on this journey with us in the church, and especially to a life that lives forever. There's no death, there's no pain, there's no... it's not going to end. It goes on and on forever. We learned last week that Jesus' power lets us live forever. And I want to tell everybody that I love about that. So I just thought that was a great story, and I want us to remember that as we go through the rest of our time together on the Rocky Railway and even beyond that.
soul. Your kingdom is my home, and I don't walk alone. Everywhere I go on this road, high and low, where I go with you. So I won't be afraid, this my hope, come what may, where I go with you. Everywhere I go on this road, high and low, where I go with you. So I won't be afraid, this my hope, come what may, where I go with you. Where I go with you. Where I go with you.
Lawrence Elk says it's time for Imagination Station. And remember, he also tells us that Jesus' power helps us be good friends. Trust Jesus. Hey, it's Imagination Station time. We have one more little craft activity that we're going to do. So our last little activity is this. We have a puzzle to put together. But not only are we going to put it together, you've got to color it because right now it's just black and white. So first step is to put that together. I'll show you a picture of that. And then I'm going to show you a picture of my beautiful finished product. And then we'll talk about what we're going to do with this puzzle. So these puzzle pieces, when they're put together, are going to show all of our Bible memory buddies. So let's see if Miss Angie can put this thing together. Oh, there's Ramsey. Remember, he taught us Jesus' power helps us do hard things. And then there was Ava, our red-tailed hawk. She taught us that Jesus' power gives us hope. And then let's see. Oh, there was Sierra. There's Sierra the mountain lion. Do you remember? She had a bold, she knew how to be bold when she needed to. So she taught us how Jesus' power helps us be bold. Last week we learned about Finn. Fantastic Finn, who taught us that Jesus' power helps us live forever. And then tonight, right there in the center, is Lawrence Elk. Jesus' power helps us be good friends. Trust Jesus. Now, this is kind of plain, just black and white, so I think Miss Angie needs to do some coloring, and I will show you my finished product at the end. And I hope that you will color your puzzle, and then what I'd love for you to do is give it to mom or dad or an older brother or older sister, see if they can put the puzzle together after you color it, and then talk about and share with them what each of our Bible memory buddies helps us to remember about the power, the wonderful power of Jesus. Here's my finished puzzle, and I would love to see a picture of yours if you want to send it to me. I'm not sure, but I think Lawrence Elk is trying to tell us it's Kid Vid Cinema time. Well, it's Kid Vid Cinema time. I can't believe that we are at the last Kid Vid Cinema that we're going to have on the Rocky Railway. We've met some great kids, real kids in our world, just like you. And tonight we don't get to meet one kid, we actually get to meet two kids. We are going to meet two friends named Renee and Alina. Here is their story.
Hi, I'm Renee and I'm 10 years old.
Hi, I'm Alina and I'm 11 years old.
Renee and Alina are great friends, and they live in the beautiful desert of southern Arizona. They love to hang out and be silly together. Their friendship has grown after they both joined an arts ministry at their church.
Ensos Manos is a creative art ministry. We do puppets, we do shows, we do skits and stuff like that.
En sus manos is Spanish for in his hands. It's an art ministry that uses performance to share the love of God. There is dancing, acting, and music.
My favorite thing about performing is probably looking at the end, looking at all the kids all smiling and laughing and liking it.
Sometimes performances are serious, and sometimes they're fun and silly. Regardless of being silly or not, one thing is true. Being a part of En Sus Manos has brought the entire team closer together.
This puppet ministry helped us become better friends. And it's not just me and her.
Other people.
A lot more. Basically the whole group. Our group, before, we were all friends, we were chill, but now we're really, really good friends. And we're always hanging out. We're always laughing, making jokes.
Jesus has used the ministry to bring the team together. This team of friends help each other to do the best they can to share God's love.
My friends, they helped me not be nervous because they were doing it too and they were nervous, but at the same time they supported us.
I was with my friends and I knew a lot of people from church, so was it that scary anymore?
Serving Jesus together has helped Alina and Renee become great friends, but they both know who the best friend is: Jesus.
He's one of our bestest friends ever.
He is.
Yeah.
Renee and Alina know that Jesus' power helps us be good friends.
Jesus helps me make friends. God knows that I'm doing this whole ministry for him. And so it just helped me become better friends with people. So he helped me be friends with a lot of people, but still worship him and praise him.
In the Bible, in the book of John, chapter 15, verse 12, it says, "Love each other in the same way I have loved you."
Jesus loved us all equally, so we should love everybody because as he says in the Bible, we're all brothers and sisters and love your enemies.
Jesus' power helps us be good friends.
What a good story about friends and friendship that goes right along with our Bible point tonight. I want to talk a little bit about friendship because, sometimes I've noticed relationships and friendships don't work out as well, maybe as the one we just saw with Renee and Alina. Sometimes friendship is hard. In fact, often it's hard. Maybe we say something that hurts someone's feelings, or maybe we get left out when friends are playing together, or any kind of situation where friendships are hard. Those things do happen, and they happen even in the church. I want to mention that. But here's what we need to remember. It's not our power that helps us to be friends with other people. It's Jesus's power. So when we find ourselves in a situation that's difficult and maybe our feelings have been hurt or maybe we get angry about something, we don't need to rely on our own power. We need to rely on Jesus's power to help us mend and fix that friendship. And we do that through prayer. We do that through reading the Bible because that tells us how to handle those situations. And we do that by relying on the power that Jesus gives us. Because remember, Jesus' power helps us be good friends. Trust Jesus. Kids are so smart. So before we head into Rocky Wrap Up, I want to show you this video of kids explaining what the church is. They do a fantastic job.
So, a long time ago, there was a guy named Jesus. He was God's son, God's rescue plan for us. He came to earth, healed people, told them about God, and then he died for us. He paid the price for our sin, because sin always has a price. After that, he came back to life, and then he went to heaven. to be with his dad again. His dad is God. But Jesus had taught his friends how to be like him.
So even though they couldn't see him,
They could act like him. That meant sharing with each other,
loving each other,
praying for each other, because it reminded them of Jesus. And they did even cooler things too. Because when Jesus left, he gave them something. The Holy Spirit.
which meant they could do miracles,
Teach other people.
heal people.
And most importantly, they could talk with God. And so can we. Jesus called them the church. Now sometimes,
When we think about church,
we might think about a building or a place. But
church isn't a building.
actually, the church is people. I'm the church. You're the church. We are the church. All of us.
When we act like Jesus,
We are being the church. When you help, you're the church. When you pray for someone, you're the church.
when you show love,
You're the church. When you tell people about Jesus, you're the church. When you obey,
you're the church.
we are the church. And one day, Jesus will come back for his church.
He'll finish the rescue plan he started.
It will be incredible. And
And
that's an amazing part of God's story.
Good job, kids. Now it's time to wrap it up. Rocky wrap-up time. Hey guys, we're at our last Rocky wrap-up. I found Cam at the rail yard.
Hey guys.
Brought him along with us today. Cam, we have been learning a lot about friendship and how Jesus' power helps us to be good friends. Have you ever seen a golden railroad spike?
Are you kidding me? I have a collection back at my house.
Wow. Well, you know what? That golden spike can help us remember that Jesus helps us stick together as friends. Remember the story of how the golden spike connected the two railways so that people could travel all the way from one side of the country to the other side of the country. I'm sure you know all about that. We also tonight met the early church. We talked about the early church, and we found that the early church wasn't a building, it was the people who were connected together because they were such good friends with each other and they showed love to each other and everyone around them. We met two friends, Alina and Renee, who also were a great example. And then, hey, what animal am I trying to be? Do you know?
A deer.
You're close.
Moose.
Bigger. Well, maybe about the same size.
Reindeer.
No.
Elk.
Ding, ding, ding. We met
Boom.
Lawrence Elk, and he helps us to remember also that Jesus' power helps us be good friends. Trust Jesus. So it's been an amazing night. Hey, Cam, I want to see if you can do something.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to put my fingers together. Yeah, you can put the golden spike over there.
All right.
I'm going to put my fingers together, and you're going to try to pull them apart.
Okay.
See if you can do that.
Oh.
It doesn't work. And you
Nope.
know what? That is just like Jesus' power. When we are connected with each other and when we're united as a church and we have Jesus' power, nobody can break that. Even in
That's
tough
right.
situations, which we all have tough situations with a friend, like you know your friend that you're making on your crew.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough situation, but with Jesus' power, you're going to get through that. I guarantee it. All right, friends, it is time, for our golden ticket. Tonight we've learned to be good friends. Hey, can you turn around? I'll borrow your back.
All right.
Cam Track, you are so useful and helpful. I'm telling you what, Jesus' power helps us be good friends. So I'm writing good friends in week 5. Right there, you can see. You'll write that on your golden ticket. Now let me tell you what's going to happen with these golden tickets. Remember I told the boys and girls last week we're trying to come up with a way to celebrate Rocky Railway. So we are going to do it. July 29th at the Bethel Park. Do you like pizza?
Oh, it's my favorite.
Do you like cupcakes?
Even more than pizza.
If you want pizza and cupcakes for your family, you are going to drive to the Bethel Park on July 29th. Anywhere from 4:30 to 6:30, you can come by. Just drive through because we're going to...
Wait, where will I park the train?
We'll figure that out, Cam. We will figure that out. But my boys and girls, our passengers, are going to hopefully get their parents to drive them to the park. You can't play on the park. We've been told we can't do that right now because of COVID-19 restrictions. But we are going to have a pizza supper with cupcakes that you can take home and enjoy with your family in exchange for a golden ticket. So there will be more information about that. Also, next week, we won't have another lesson, but we're actually going to have a sing-song celebration next week that you can view on YouTube or on Facebook as well, just to kind of wrap all of our lessons up and do a quick review of that. Do you think we should do one more prize drawing?
I think we should do one more.
All right, I have another Super Soaker to give away tonight, and also some cool Rocky Railway stickers that you get as part of this prize. So I have all of our passengers on the Rocky Railway in here. I'm going to let Cam pull out our winner for tonight.
All right. Tonight's big winner is Emerson Everhart.
Emerson Everhart, congratulations. You get a Super Soaker and some stickers, and I will get those to you as soon as possible. Cam, thanks for all your help on the Rocky Railway, and thanks to you guys for being a part of this journey. It's been amazing, and we've learned so much about Jesus' power and how it helps us through life's ups and downs. And we hope you have a great week, and talk to you later. Bye.
See ya. Might just have to stop by the pizza party.
Yeah. I bet you thought I forgot the theme song, but here it is.
We trust in you, Jesus. You're all that we need. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. You give us hope and life that's forever. You make us bold and we stand together. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. We're off on this journey, there's no looking back. With Jesus to lead us, we're on the right track. Oh, 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 oh. Wide open spaces for wide open eyes. We're looking ahead for the next big surprise. Oh, 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 oh. We trust in you, Jesus. You're all that we need. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. You give us hope and life that's forever. You make us bold and we stand together. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. We're off on this journey, there's no looking back. With Jesus to lead us, we're on the right track. Oh, 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 oh. Wide open spaces for wide open eyes. We're looking ahead for the next big surprise. Oh,